I think it's so easy in our industry to say all the right things, our heart to really be in the right place, but because of the volume of business, transaction 137 becomes no more than that because you've got your processes and systems and flows
Yeah.
but to that individual or that family, that is the most defining moment of their life up to this point.
That's right.
And so I think a big piece of this is just reestablishing, man, it's easy in the early days when there was only a couple deals a month happening that, man, you loved on those families and you leaned in and you were taking the pictures and you were checking in on them and following up. But then at some point, transaction 137 happens. And I know I talk to a lot of LOs that they don't mean it to be that way, but that's where it happens. That's how it happens. And so I think trying to figure out like what's something that you could do to just bring a little bit more value to that individual and not allow it to feel so transactional, because the best of the best, it does feel transactional to some degree because they're incredible at process. They've worked years to have great systems. And so it's not that those are bad things, but at some point, where do we lose humanity? And it changes that, I think.
No, it does, Kyle. I love the idea of client number 137. Like that is such a great challenge. Now, it admittedly, maybe it was 137 3 years ago. Today it's client 12, because it's a little different market that we're in. But to your point, I always look for like where are examples of excellence that we can learn from. It's why I wrote the book over my shoulder here, White Collar Warrior, where I interviewed Navy SEALs, Army Rangers. But there's so many places. Like for example, we travel a lot, so we stay in a lot of hotels. And when we're really lucky, we stay in a really, really, really nice hotel, like a Ritz Carlton. I'll bet we've all stayed in a Ritz Carlton at some point. And when you compare that experience to, I don't know, a Marriott Fairfield Inn, which is kind of a toss of the dice. Like, what you're there for. You're there because it's going to be cheap, but the service may or may not be any good. But how does that happen at the Ritz where it's predictable again and again? One of the things that they do is the employees all carry a card, a Credo card. Dale, you probably know this. You probably looked into this. And on that card, it says, "We are ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen." Like, think about that. We are ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen. I don't think that's happening at the Hilton Garden Inn.
Yep.
And then for the executives that have desks, they have these things on their desks. It's this cool little pyramid that has all of their values, the credo, everything that they value. So why do I tell you this? I've had clients over the years, I tell them that story and then I challenge them. How do you summarize you at your best when you show up the best way possible with clients, when you're getting 5-star reviews, people are thanking you, they're sending you referrals? What did that look like? How do we package that up and then create that deliverable, that experience every single time? So I would just challenge you to do this exercise. Start with the question of, when we're at our best, what do we look like? And then how do I memorialize it so that I'm reminded of it? You could do it on a rock. I've got things like this on my desk. You guys know it. You just need an anchor to bring you back to, why do I do this every day on my worst day? How am I reminded to show up the best?
Love it. So good.